welcome to the AMEND podcast. I'm JasmineLatishea, your host. So, thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about fasting. And I found it 26 times and 22 verses. And there is only one thing that I found to be quite alarming, something that I already knew, but I'm going to save my personal experience for this word for the end. So let's find out what it means and get more clarity. So it is a noun. In the English, it means to abstain from all or some kinds of food or drink, especially as a religious observance. That's in the English. Okay. So, and the Hebrew word is TSOWM. It begins with a sade. Okay. It's a 3-letter Hebrew word beginning with a sade, wa, and mem. Okay, it's 3 letters. Now let's go to those 3 letters and what they actually mean. For a sade, it means a fish hook to pull forward something inescapable, desire, trouble, harvest, righteous, to hunt. Then you have the next letter, wa. It's a nail, a peg, a hook, joining together, making secure, becoming bound, nailed to. And an interesting fact is that in German, the word is actually fasten. So with reading these definitions, I can see why the word is actually fasten. Okay? Hooking something together. And when you hook something together, it can't go anywhere. Okay? A mem, which is the last letter, means water, mighty, massive, chaos, like the deep, to come from, like water down a mighty stream. So the word that instantly sticks out for me would be chaos, because anytime you're fasting or you need to fast, you're already in chaos. Okay, something is happening, which is the reason why you need to be doing it. Something is going on. You're already in the middle of the water. You're already in chaos. Okay? And so from there, we're going to go. Now, we're going to look at those words, at those letters again at the end of this. But as for right now, we're going to go into some of the verses that I found in here. Now, in order, if you want to go do your own research, which you should, you have to look at the word fasting, which is a present participle or gerund. Okay? You can't look at the word fasting, really get here. But for this particular word, I would need more studying. There's way more to it than what I even found. But this is just to give a small analysis of what this means and why you would use it. Okay? And the reason I chose the word fasting is because we all know about the epidemic of coronavirus taking place right now. And this is going to be important. If the stores or stuff was to empty out, you have no garden. Some of you are vegetarians, but you will become meat eaters if the wrong things take place. So in my opinion, you may want to get acclimated with fasting. I've been doing it over a couple weeks now, not straight, but intermittent fasting. And my reasons was for weight loss, but I also will do it spiritually, but I'm documenting my weight loss, so I didn't want to intertwine the two together, because usually you don't let other people know when you're doing it, even though once I upload a video, I'm already 24 hours ahead, so to speak, right? But I wouldn't want anyone to know that I was doing it. Okay, and there is a passage in there that speaks about people who try to fast and tell you what they're doing. They're doing it for a reason and to kind of like gloat. And I've seen people gloat in the name or with the Most High, which is something I never understood. But anyway, in Nehemiah 9:1, there was a group fasting. So from this passage, we can see that people can fast in large groups, and you can also tell that the fasting was from the Israelites, and no strangers were involved when they would fast. And what it says, to humble themselves to the Most High. No strangers are allowed in it. Okay, so it says, now in the 20th and 4th day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting and with sackcloth and earth upon them. So it was them as a group just doing it together. So that means when trouble is near, those Israelites need to join together and fast to get things to go the way they need them to go. Okay? So then Psalm 69:10 says, when I wept, I chastened my soul with fasting, and my flesh fails of fatness. So we do know that that's one of the side effects of fasting. You fail of fatness. You can't get bigger. You're constantly a little bit withering away. Okay? Dan 9:3 says, and I set my face unto Yahuwah Elohim to seek by prayer, supplications, and fasting. So once again, Daniel is humbling himself to the Most High. Okay? And then Job 2:12 says, therefore also now saith Yahuwah. So this is Yahuwah himself speaking, the Creator. Turn you even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning. So he's commanding for people to do this. And one of the things you will quickly realize is that it's actually like an unwritten requirement. It is a requirement that as a follower of the Most High that you be fasting. So it's not something that you want to do, it's something that you have to do. And Matthew 17:21 says, howbeit this kind goes not out by prayer and fasting. We're going to look a little bit more deeply into that one. Okay. And Mark 9:29 says, and he said unto him, this kind can come forth by nothing but fasting. And there were other ones, but I just chose a couple to kind of go deeper into. And one of them, I am no stranger to, and I've seen this. So we're going to move right into it. Nehemiah 9:1, from what we read on the other side, which was about now in the 20th and fourth day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting and sackcloth and earth upon them. And 9:2 said, and the seed of Israel separated from all the strangers. Strangers are other nations. And stood and confessed their sins and their iniquities of their fathers. So, as a nation, or as a stranger, or as a culture, or as a group of one type of person, when you sin, you need to be getting together and repenting. Now, we do not see this with the cultures on the earth, but this is what's supposed to be happening. If there is an offense, the offense needs to be cleared up. You can't just walk away from it and think that it's over. Okay, so Esther 4 and 3, it was talking about, I didn't write the complete passage down, but it was talking about the king had passed a decree, meaning a law, and the Israelites began to mourn, and they started fasting. So that means if you have an oppressor, aka an enemy, you need to be fasting on those enemies around you, which is the oppressor, which is the rulers of the place where you are, such as America. Okay, Psalm 35 and 13. David, he prayed and he fasted against his enemies. But here is the part where that was very, very interesting to me. And I can tell you without a doubt, this is very, very, very true. And this is Matthew 17:21. And it says, a man said to Yahuwah, hold on. Okay, 17:21. It says, howbeit this kind goes not out by prayer and fasting. So I wanted to look a little bit more deeply into that. And what I do is I'll go back to the verse and the passage, and I'll read what's above, a little bit of what's below, to make sure that I'm have the proper context of what I'm reading. See, that right there really told me anything. It didn't tell me anything, but I kind of know what it's talking about, and I already know who's speaking. And a man said to Yahuwah, now this is 17:15, Master, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed, for oft times he falls into the fire and into the water. Then 17:18, and Yahuwah rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. So did you just hear that? There was a devil inside of the person that could only be brung out by fasting and by prayer. Not only that, we can see that demons can't enter kids. It was a child. Some people believe that children are innocent, but I mean, we even know, some of us know that there's a such thing as, I've never seen any black-eyed children walking around, coming up to people's doors, trying to stop them and get in their cars, and they want you to let them in. Supposedly their eyes are all black. Go look it up if you've never heard of what I'm talking about, but it's such a thing. And I guess it's meant to harp on the feeling or the notion that most humans feel that children are innocent. So if children are innocent, that might be the best person to send at you to so-called take you down. Okay? It's saying right here, they can have devils. Okay? And when I read this, now we all think, and most of us assume that we know what the word lunatic means, and sore vexed. So I went and I looked up the word lunatic, and here's what it said. Whew. To be struck, to be moonstruck, to be epileptic, epilepsy being supposed to return and to increase of the moon. Okay. So, and then it said, a lunatic is an antiquated term referring to a person who is seen as mentally ill, dangerous, foolish, or crazy. Lunacy was derived from lunaticus, meaning of the moon or moonstruck. Now, when I read that, it kind of gave me the chills because I've seen that. And some of you can go look up a occurrence called sundowning. Sundowning occurs with people who have like Alzheimer's. And what it is that a particular type of time of the day, they will go off. From what I know, it's around like the moon isn't even out. But sometimes you can't see the moon from the daytime, but the moon wouldn't be out as far as I knew, and clients would actually go crazy at a particular time of the day. Or I've been in healthcare since about 21 years old, and I can tell you over and over and over, I have seen, it was common knowledge that when there's a full moon, the clients go crazy. Okay? Everybody knew it. I don't even know who's the first to catch on, but I've been to city and seen the same thing in 2 different cities. This is actually a real thing, and people who work with so-called mentally ill or physically ill or debilitated people know for a fact that this is something that's going on in the nursing homes or group homes, wherever you work. You have heard of this, probably. If you've noticed it, maybe after hearing you will notice, or begin to pay attention if you're still doing that type of work. But this is something that actually does happen. We would talk about it all the time. Or before I come to work, I would do 3rd shifts. Before I would come to work, if it's a full moon, I'd be like, wow. Because that's how serious it was. Because you're going to have behavior. Everybody's going to be riled up. And you know what? On the days it was going to be a full moon, you were actually able to predict by the behaviors that the clients would have that a full moon would probably be coming. Because it's distinct behaviors. Just imagine a whole bunch of kids on sugar. That's kind of, not that they're kids, but that's kind of like, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And these behaviors can be anything, any little thing, but it wasn't common because how many ever people you have, most of them will be on a tangent. Okay? And so that means that these people, mentally ill people, you may have to be careful around them. It became to a point to where I was careful, very, very careful around them, because I began to notice that they did have evil spirits inside of them. How did you know? Well, I knew because some of the clients would witness things. Everybody isn't crazy. So some of the clients would witness things, but I had 2 incidents with clients, and they knew information that it was impossible for them to know. So the first occurrence was a client told me, it was outside and it was a little bit late, and I won't say anything that can point out to who I'm talking about, because if I say certain things about her and if somebody seen the video, they would know exactly who I was talking about. So I won't say anything where you can point her out. It was late night. She came outside and she started chanting, and then she started calling me Daikedra, Daikedra, Daikedra. So then that's when I looked at her. Now, as you can see, you look down, my name is not Daikedra, but my name is actually JasmineLatishea or Latishea. So, but when she said that, I paused because I knew exactly what she was talking about. And when my mom tells me all the time, well, when you were younger, your dad named you. And she said, I also had a name picked out for you. That name is Daikedra. So how would somebody that don't know me I'm not even from where I stay at. So how are you gonna know? You never met my mother. You know, nobody knows. It just wasn't possible for her to have known that information. So right then I had knew she had been told that, or something else was speaking. Okay, and then it seemed like the more that I started to know, then stuff started to kick up. Other workers have been present when pictures coming off the wall, people running upstairs. It's just a lot of different occurrences, knocking at the doors, knocking at the windows, nobody there. A lot of different strange stuff used to happen at work at nighttime, to the point to where I had to stop working at a specific location due to the activity. And I remember one of them coming in one night, late at night, saying there were people burning under the floor. I mean, now, I didn't see it, but when it comes to the sick, the mentally ill population, people like to dismiss them a lot and don't take nothing as what they're saying as the truth, but not me. When they tell me something, I take it serious. I try to help them out with that situation, tell whoever I need to tell about it, because just like I believe anything anybody else say, I'm going to believe what they say too. I don't know what you're saying. And to me, it's just always been strange that if somebody calls himself a psychic, their word will be taken. Okay? They're not crazy. But if you go to the doctor and say that you talking to something or you see something, you're crazy, but the psychic is not. Okay, Miss Cleo ain't crazy, you are. So, second incident. I'm at work and the client says, and I'm like, this guy's oh, and he also had slammed the door and broke my nail off that day. Sure did. Because I had just had my nails, they were just done. So, you ladies know that when one of a fresh, brand new nail comes off, how excruciating that is. I had forgot about that part. Sure did. Knocked my whole nail off because it was bleeding too. And then I'm in the kitchen, I'm doing something. So he comes and he was like, Jasmine, look down. So the first couple of times, I just ignored him. He had been misbehaving all day. So I just tried to redirect him to do something else. I really wasn't listening to him. Finger already sore now. So then he comes back over and over. He keeps saying this. Look down. So finally, I look down. And when I tell you, I never even knew. But this at the time when I was just beginning to learn stuff, okay? And I looked down at my shirt, and it was the biggest pentagram with a Baphomet head pointed towards me. So I screamed a little bit. I jumped. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to give up anything identifying. But he just looked down and he was like, giving that laugh. And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. These people is possessed. I was convinced. Everybody was possessed. Not all of them, but I'll say majority. It just got to the point to where I wanted to pull out of that line of work because I wanted to pray for them, but at the same and not fast because I didn't know that you can get spirits out that way at that time. So I wanted to pray for them, but I was so scared of, I don't know whether it's from watching the movies or what, but I was concerned about the demons coming out and jumping into my body. If I had, obviously it was powerful enough to get you to a point of 24-hour care. Okay? So, that's just my personal experience with the situation. So, let's see where we're going to go from here. And I'm going to give you some reasons that we should do it. Okay? Afflict ourselves before our Elohim to seek of him a right way for us and for our little ones and for our substance. So you're supposed to pray over the things that you have, over yourself to seek the right way. And you're supposed to be fasting for your children. Can't tell you the last time I seen that one happen. But there it is right there. For our little ones. Maybe then, if the prayer was already going on for your little ones, they wouldn't end up with the demons inside of them as a child. But I don't know. Okay. I'm just reading what was in the text. So, other reasons is to loosen the bands of wickedness, undo heavy burdens, let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke, to make your voice heard on high. Let's see. You also can fast to recommit to Yahuwah. We also know that Yahushua, the Son, spent 40 days and 40 nights doing this. So we already know that it's something that it's not optional. It's something we should be doing. You fast on your kids' behalf. Fast to gain self-control, to gain self-restraint. Okay? if there's a ruler for wherever the land you are in, against the enemies, against the rulers of that land, fast and pray to draw out, like it said, a fish hook for Sade to pull forward, to pull that demon up out of people. Okay, desire, trouble, harvest for righteousness. Okay, a nail peg, a hook joined together. Okay, so we can see that the Wah is about the Most High. All of those definitions, because it says a nail, a peg, a hook joining together, making secure, becoming bound. Who are you going to be bound to? You're going to be bound and nailed to the Most High. And very interesting is because Wah, his name is Yahuwah. His name, part of his name is actually the peg, the hook joining together, making secure, becoming bound. So, and then the man, like everything that he does is just genius to me. Once you start going back and you begin to look through the other languages, you will find things that you've never seen. Now, that was just a little bit of what I found on fasting, but there's some things that I know that I couldn't even find where I was digging for it. So as time goes on, I will keep adding to this to see what more we can find. Like, I wanted to know times, like whether they were doing it in the day, whether they were doing it at night. It seems to me, by the book, time, like a day begins from sundown to sundown. Like one day would be, like we count it when the sun rises. It seems like it might be from the sun rising to, from the sun down to the other sun down is a full day. So there is absolutely some confusion about time and how time is supposed to be counted. We are supposed to recognize things in the stars and the seasons. You can go outside and, they say that the earth, the sun sits still with the planets going around it, but how can that be possible when all it takes for you to go outside in the morning? Now, I worked third shift for many, many, many years, and one thing I know is the sun comes out from the east and it sets in the west, and that's how time even down here is determined. The states have different, I know that always know that the states that's east, okay? Not the states that's east, but the states that's west, east. Their time is going to be quicker, always quicker than ours, because the sun does like this. So imagine hour, and that's why the states on the left are the states that are ahead in time, and on the right, those states are behind in time. Okay? That's why, because the sun is moving across. You can go outside, you can see it yourself. You can see that it's not just standing still. Or is it that you believe that we're moving? Because I don't, nobody's going to tell me I'm spinning around a million times a minute and nothing's moving, okay? When I fall on the floor, I wish that's when it was moving I could have broke that fall with something. Or, nobody gets in airplanes and just start bouncing around. Or maybe you're going to say it ain't high enough. Maybe it's not. But anyway, thank you for watching and listening. if I can find some other information on fasting, because I want to get into this a little bit more, because fasting also recovers you. And I think I had some notes about this very thing, but for some reason, maybe I looked it up, like, maybe I looked it up in a different way under a different word, okay? Because this is not technically what I was looking for. But I was happy to find what I did find, because wow, that's something that I've been knowing for years. A lot of us out here know that the clients, people who are sick, something happens when the full moon comes out. So I am ecstatic to actually see that. Wow. I was actually blown away. Even if everything in there was important, but that just, wow. Explained a lot. Explained things I already knew. So thank you guys for watching. I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks, and it won't be 2 weeks again before I do it again. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed night. Remember, go steady. See what you find. You can also find this podcast on my YouTube page and vice versa. Thank you for watching. I am in.